just mean that in terms of just art form. There's usually like some struggle. There's usually like some tension. There's something there's a problematic, and then it gets worked out, and at the end there's a resolution. So in movies, there's 3 acts in almost every movie. So there's the introduction of the characters, there's the tension or there's a breakup, and then there's the resolution at the end. But let me state this, is that we love stories, but we don't really do a good job of telling relational stories on the screen. And what we really do need are relational stories. So we love that, oh, they met, they fell in love, they went their separate ways, and they got back together then, and then they lived happily ever after. We haven't seen how to live happily ever after. And so what I'm saying is about, from Tyler Perry to just a number of, it's just the genre of movies, they don't focus on the happily ever after. I want to see how does that look? Okay, I want to see how happily ever after looks. We know tension, we know pain, we know cheating, okay? We know some dogs on whether they be bees or whether they be something else. So we know that. But let's try out some loving, okay? So there's the, and this is something that you probably won't see in the Tyler Perry movie right here.
That's right.
I can't agree
to get up
better
sleepy.
That I believe that it just reinforces those negative stereotypes of stuff that we see on a regular basis, things that we have to deal with. Oh, he ain't no good, so on and so forth, and those particular images. And then just listening to the brother here, I'm thinking about some of the different images of the movie now that I'm listening. And if you remember the rape scene, during the point where the camera was flashing from the rape scene to the camera, it was also flashing back and forth to an opera scene. And if you remember, the opera scene was the same scene that you would see in The Godfather when it was going back and forth, if you remember that. And then there is another imagery piece that, if you really think about it, when the young lady is going to see Macy Gray for her to perform the abortion, the road or the alley that she's traveling down is full of degradation. You know, you have dope dealers and gangbangers and prostitutes and folks hollering out the window. Ah! And so basically what's being said, if you look at it from that particular view, is that look what sex will do, or look what sex or a man will do. Lead you down this particular road where you are lonely and by yourself. Having to deal with all of these particular things that are going on, and you are ultimately by yourself to lay on this slab and whatever to be done to you. And so when you think about all of that, that's not something that I want to be reminded of on a regular basis, because you deal with it every day. And so why can't we see something a little more positive? We don't need those particular images to be reinforced in our mind. That was just some things that I thought about as I was sitting here.
Yeah, I agree that the images are disturbing. But if I'm correct in the question, what impact do we believe the movie had on?
How do you, in your opinion,
my opinion,
how does the movie make black men look to black women?
Oh yes. Well, in my personal experiences, I've counseled a lot of women, and I've tried to counsel a lot of couples. Unfortunately, most of the sessions that I've encountered, it had something to do with the male being too dominant, insensitive, some just downright just jacked up, and it appears that there are a lot of men who probably just don't really know themselves. And I think it's unfortunate that even though that appears to be the majority of a lot of women's experiences, when we make these movies, even though those movies represent experiences that women had, it can look like, hey, this is just the way the black man is. At the same time, in my experience with counseling these people, I noticed that depending on the woman's consciousness, she would gravitate towards a certain type of man. In short, it appears that those women who may not have had much experiences with men who are more positive, let's say educated with themselves, who are positive to that nature, women that didn't have those type of experiences, they had more negative experiences with men, or gravitated more with them. But I have to admit also that I've met several women who knew themselves, who were very poised in their thinking and their character, and they chose, in my opinion, very wisely, though they had some unfortunate experiences as well. But it depends on the consciousness of the woman. You know, and I'm not going to try to have the audacity to claim that I know what the impact of the movie is going to have on them. Okay. So in short, it depends on the consciousness of the woman.
My response, initially when you asked the question, hands up, because I have no idea what the film, because I kind of forget the question, because it's what do I think African American women would take from the film about African American men? And I think after a certain age, I think they've seen it all, whether it's been in the media or just through everyday life. They've seen all these situations, whether it's talking to their homegirls or just watching TV, or the experience that they have in their own life. So if you're talking to African American women, it's nothing new. You can't tell me the gay guy, the bisexual guy. That's not new. I don't think that's new to any of the women in here. It's not a new concept. The rape guy, that's not a new concept. The police officer, yeah, I don't think that's a new guy, but guys,
he got overlooked though.
Yeah, he got overlooked. You got who's the other guy? I'm forgetting.
Someone to drop the Vietnam veteran.
The veteran that went insane. Maybe not to that extent, but we've all heard it or we've seen it on TV. So it shouldn't teach about it. It kind of was a soft blow. That was subtle. So I don't know if they're taking anything from that. If they're running away with a lie on that. I don't get a lot of credit.
I had to add this real quick. I think the film had an immediate impact on black man, black woman relations, and I shared my movie experience last time I was here. I went with a black woman, and the majority of the people in the theater were black women, of course. But you could see a change in the zeitgeist, if you will. From the beginning of the movie, everybody's excited. Everybody's so invested in a Tyler Perry film. Man, he's about to do it again. Janet Jackson in here. Mm-hmm. But by the end of the film, you could tell that the black man became the enemy. Just in how the black woman was sneering at you, how she was kind of staying away. And I think the impact that I think. That's what she. Yeah. In my opinion, the impact was, it helped to kind of harden this negative image of a black man, and it also kind of drove a wedge further between the black man and the black woman. And there's already a lot of distrust between us, and so I think a film like that, where you don't have a balance of the cop had 3 scenes, but you have this overwhelming negative image of the black man, and overall, in my opinion, it helped to harden this negative image of the black man. So.
I saw the movie and it was I was in it with a whole bunch of women. It was the night that it opened up, and they had like a opening, and I kind of felt that too. But I left from the movie, I think everybody's got the same images in their head. They're talking about the guy who raped the girl. They're talking about the guy that's a bisexual. I'm talking about not those main characters. Hill Harper, he totally got overlooked, and he was the good guy. He's trying to save the whole world, and nobody is really even so. I understand what you're saying about the subliminal thing. The guy, if you remember Tandy New when she was going upstairs and her sister came out, that was totally offensive to me because he was like, well, what's up with your sister? And I was like, I'm like, she's a kid. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I'm saying those little subliminal things like that, we totally overlook that. I keep hearing everybody talking about the rape and all that. That until I probably brought it up, a lot of people here just forgot about that. But, I mean, oh, okay. Well, I'm talking about as a man. That's what I saw. And then the same, see, it was women in here though last time. But as a man, that's from my perspective, that was totally offensive to me. I'm like, okay, so now all the brothers is pedophiles now. And then the next one was when she was in the bar.